We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one where we aren't watching the Super Bowl again. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso and my coach Beard, Chris Evans.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going
I'm,
good.
I'm
Gathering
doing
of
the
the
tweet.
Geeks. I get it. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. Chris, we're here on a fine Sunday evening. Nothing else is going on in the world.
No.
We're just here hanging out like normal. What's up to Eric and Lauren in the comments already? How's your fine Sunday evening? How are you enjoying the Super Bowl? The halftime show just ended. We've got a whole bunch of trailers to talk about. But Chris, how you doing, man? How was your week?
Busy week. I didn't have a lot of time to breathe this week. I feel like I feel like the only time I had to breathe was when I was doing podcasts, which is always fun to me. It's like the perfect relax time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I find that sometimes I'm stressing out about doing the podcasting stuff, and that's the stuff I'm rushing around with. Mm-hmm. But I get that on the other end too, where that's the time to sit down and be calm and to relax.
Yeah, that is a relaxed time. Yeah. So I enjoy those moments, that hour or two here or there.
Absolutely.
But that's how I've been. How about you? How was your week?
It was a busy week as well, and I found, we're going into it was the 5th episode of Last of Us this week.
Yes.
But I'm finding out that the first half of my weeks now for the last 5 weeks, aside from this week where it aired on a Friday, are all Last of Us. It just takes up my headspace so much. Mm-hmm. I was thinking today about the stuff that I had read, and my family and I were sick for the later half of this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today. So the first half of the week was Last of Us was all over my head in my brain. And then the later half of the week was just my family was sick. So it felt like I had no time to do anything either. So it's just one of those things it's a funny thing. I'm kind of happy that you mentioned that about how these things that we do, podcasting with friends, talking with friends, geeking out with things like we're talking about today, is the calming nature of things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I like that. I like that a lot.
It is though. It's fun.
Yeah.
Everybody doing better today, by the way?
We're doing better, but your body goes through so much over a day that it takes twice or 3 times as long just to recover from being in the sick. So even though you're not sick and your body's not killing itself, it still is not very happy with you afterwards. Sure. So we're doing all right. Yeah, that's right.
I totally understand.
What's up, everybody who joined in? Phil, Aaron. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? How's it going in tomorrow? All right, Chris, what'd you get up to this week? If you were so busy, did you have time to read anything? Did you have time to watch anything?
I read a single book and I watched 2 things.
Ooh, not bad.
The single book I read was Harrower #1 from Boom Studios. Have you read that?
I read it this afternoon, yes.
It's a fun book. It reminds me a lot of, if you take the concept of Halloween and Michael Myers and put it to a comic book, that's kind of what I was getting from it, mm-hmm. Which is good. Of course, I'm not complaining.
I was going to say, those are all good things.
Right, that's what I got. It was kind of like a Halloween-esque story. For those of you guys who have not heard of this book, it's about a small town who has, we don't know too much about it, but a small town has some kind of curse where a boogeyman or men type of thing comes around on Halloween, I believe, and murders kids. So, it sounds kind of similar.
I like the way it started. It starts out with a bang per se, too.
It does.
It gets you hooked. The story gets you hooked pretty quick. So I like the way they told that for sure.
Yeah, they waste no time in getting you ready for what's to come. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a fun so far. I'm looking forward to where it goes. I think it's another limited.
What do you think of the art?
Very mixed on the art.
Yeah.
Some characters changed facial features panel to panel.
Yes.
I didn't even realize one of them was with the main characters.
Yeah.
The girl that joins later, I didn't realize who she was in some panels because she looks so different. I wish the art was a little bit more consistent.
Mm-hmm. I think I was scrolling Twitter, maybe it was yesterday or today, and I saw, I think DC Patrol friend of ours, put out a tweet about what do you like more about comics, whether it's the story or the art. And when I read the book today, I'm like, oh, this is one of those books, like a book with if I liked the art 10% more, maybe 20% more, the book would have been so much better for me. And it's interesting how that works. That the writing and the art are they're equal in the storytelling of a comic book, but one seems to overrule an enjoyment of it for me sometimes in the art. I really need to enjoy the art more than the writing or the dialogue sometimes. I think, because at first glance, that's the other thing. There are so many books out, and they do cost a lot of money sometimes. Like, and Chris, you base your basis for buying comic books or reading a comic book based off the art on the cover of the book sometimes.
A lot of the time, yeah.
So it can be difficult, but I wish I liked the art a little bit more. But the story is quite good for sure.
Yeah, I can excuse the art for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I say that like I'm a giant connoisseur of these things or something.
Yeah, like I can't draw a stick man. Like
I can live with it. Yeah. I can live with this art, but really, it's not bad art. It's just it's not my favorite kind of art, is what I will say.
Sure.
But great book. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I read. I didn't have time to read anything else. I know that there's a bunch of stuff for me to get to, and I will, but probably not today. For tonight.
Yeah. Add it to the list.
Yes, that list just keeps growing. I gotta get to the Murder World books. They sound fun.
Oh yeah, I sent you the one with the Moon Knight on it.
Yeah, I got to get to that one. So I think I need to read the others.
You had told me there was like a week before or 2 weeks before there was a Wolverine one, or something. What is this Murder World business?
Are you familiar with the villain Arcade?
No.
I think he's more of an X-Men villain than anything else, but he basically has this I don't know how to explain him. I think he's like Mojo. I think he's kind of like Mojo, I guess. I don't know how to explain him, but he it's like a game show kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. I have not read the old Murder World, but I'm interested in this new one. We'll see how I like it after I read it.
And so the Moon Knight one that I had sent you has nothing to do with the Wolverine one, or are they connected?
I have no idea.
In some way?
I think they're connected, but I'm not sure.
All right.
I'd like to read both of them anyway. The Poison Ivy book. So this is like the little book that could.
I know.
The little comic that could, because it started off as I think a 3-issue thing.
Yeah.
Then it kept getting bumped up, and now it's going to be a full series. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think Eric was one that's been all over it, and then Lauren, obviously, I think was one that's been hyping it up for a long time, and I'm happy for it, because like aside from it being like a very popular character for DC, it just seems like a very good, well written book that, like you said, it started off with only 3, and now it's going to a full series. I don't know if that's happened often. I've never heard of something to be scheduled for limited and it sells so good and it's so popular that they said, "We'll just keep on going." I'm sure it's happened before, but that's great stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I want to get to that book eventually. It's on the list.
Yeah, that's right.
But I like the success that's having, and I like Ivy as a character. I think she's great. She doesn't get a lot to do other than, well, I guess lately they've been giving her more. But there was a point where she was really only existing to be like a femme fatale kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we've moved past that, because she is more.
Well, I was thinking about I was thinking about how much your love for Harley Quinn, where she was in a box for a while, where she was, only the dumb and ditzy kind of person, where she's, she can be so much more. And I guess it would appear, and again, I haven't read the series, but I definitely will add it to the list as well. It seems like she's outside of her own box now, where she can be, Poison Ivy can be so much more. So I like that.
Yeah, it's. I think it's cool. And I'm sure I'll like the book when I get to it.
Yeah.
That's all I've read. As far as watched goes, I watched both episodes of Last of Us this week, of course.
Yes.
I'm still recovering.
Yes.
And I watched more X-Men. I've been watching more of the X-Men animated series, which is a good time. Though, I got to be honest, going back to it, the animation is so bad. Yes. But as a kid, it was like, this is amazing.
That's
but
right.
as an adult, the animation is pretty bad. It's horrible, but the stories are so good, and I love how and Batman animated series did this too. But it's some of the stories are borderline adult in a way. They're not really made for kids, and it shows. This show is made so everybody can enjoy it, parents with their kids, and I love it. So I watched some of that. The big thing I watched was It Follows. After last week, a lot of people recommended it to me. Like, well, check it out. So I did. Some things make the list quicker than others, I guess.
That's right. That is true.
Yeah, some things will move up the list quicker than others. The one where Zeddy watches both the show and the Super Bowl. So I really liked It Follows. That was a good surprise. When it was described to me as a supernatural STD,
right.
that piqued my interest. Like, what is that even? So I'm glad to have watched it. Now I understand what it is. It's a very engaging movie. It's really well shot too. There's some surprising camera work in this movie that I liked a lot. And I appreciated the kind of low budget nature of it too.
Yes.
So I feel like this movie was made for a couple of Big Macs and some handshakes.
That's what I said. I think if it was made for like $100.
It was cheap. But I liked it. I appreciate when they could make the most out of a budget and it doesn't bring the film down.
Right.
And that's kind of the case with this. Also, that opening was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love the gruesome nature of that first thing you see. That was cool. All about enjoying characters' miseries. So, but I liked It Follows a lot. I think that's something I'll revisit. I'm shocked it does not have a sequel.
Yeah, I never really thought about it getting a sequel. Maybe. Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it. Like you say, it was made for $100. What would be the downside to it? But
right, and people like it.
Yeah.
It's got good reviews. It's got a seemingly very strong fan base. The only thing is, and I mentioned this on Twitter too, the ending didn't work for me. I was talking to our friend Phil Walsh, and we both kind of agreed the ending is like Nightmare on Elm Street. But then someone else compared to Scooby-Doo, which I think is perfect. If you smash Scooby-Doo with Nightmare on Elm Street, that's what the ending is.
That's not so bad, by the way.
That's kind of what the whole movie is. It's amazing. Chris needs to finish Babylon. That first hour is awesome. It is chaos on film. The budget was $1.3 million. Okay.
There you go. That's surprising.
That's a lot of big bucks.
I'm surprised it's that much.
I am too, but they made the most of it, and I love seeing that. It's so cool. Because I always think if I were to make a movie, it'd probably be for 99 cents double cheeseburger, and a promise that I'll write your name on a whiteboard at some point and say you were in it.
That's right. Yeah, for the credits that we use paper and pencil for, you'll be one of the names on that.
Right. I promise I will write your name on there.
Exactly.
And I know it won't look half as good as anything else anyone makes. So
yep,
it's cool.
That's fun. Well, I'm glad you got to those. And what's your deal with Babylon? You started that the other day when I was talking to you, and you just didn't get around to it. You couldn't finish it the last couple days.
I just didn't get around to it, and it's funny. I could have watched that instead of It Follows.
Right.
But I figured, okay, I kind of want something simpler at this point.
So is it too much of an overload, that first hour of Babylon for you?
You
needed a cleanse?
No, I didn't need a cleanse. I guess I was just more in the headspace for some horror.
Sure.
I guess that's what it was.
Right on.
I kind of want to restart Babylon 2, watch it start to finish this because I really like that first hour and I want to see it again.
I was going to ask you what your experience is for your long breaks in between watching something. If you watch the movie and you have to stop and then take a break and then go back to it, or do you just start it over again? I can't remember the last time I've done that before.
I usually don't do that because I hate doing that.
Yeah.
And Babylon was an interesting case because I turned out thinking, okay, I need to go to sleep. I was up anyway afterward. Yeah. I was like, I should have just watched Babylon. I should have just finished it. But here we are.
Here we are.
There we are. I'll get to it. And yeah, Margot Robbie. So I've said it a lot of times. Margot Robbie's name alone does not sell projects. Mm-hmm. But whatever she's in, she is fantastic. She's so entertaining. And she takes on these characters and just becomes a different person. which I guess is what acting is. But you know what I mean.
Sure.
She's good at it.
Sure.
Is what I guess I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's good at it.
Don't oversimplify it, Chris.
Right. That seems like an oversimplification.
Yeah, dude. It's like that skit from Extras. You seen that one with Ian McLennan and Ricky Gervais?
No.
Ian McLennan is trying to explain to Ricky Gervais how he acts, and he says the big secret is I pretend to be somebody else. Like, his whole idea is acting. It's just like, I'm not actually that person, but I pretend to be.
There you go.
Exactly. It's like, oh, interesting.
I see it now. I see the vision.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate the vision.
It's all coming together. I watched Violent Night. I forget, that was Thursday. I watched it with my daughter. I went to watch it on Tuesday night, actually, about a half hour before my daughter was about to go to bed. And she's like, oh, I wanted to watch this. I'm like, all right, I'll wait for you. She's a big David Harbour fan, obviously, from Stranger Things. So we watched that, and we had a great time with it. It's funny, it's violent, and it's got good action. But I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit. It's got a great Christmas spirit meaning to it as well.
It does.
Which,
it really does.
You know, watching it at this time of year is very... I don't watch Christmas movies other than in December. I don't think I've ever... Maybe I have once in my life, but not recently. So it was kind of different for me watching, you know, a Christmas movie in February. Did this come out in January?
Or no, it came out in December.
Did it? Okay, so I just missed it. It's a great movie to watch in December now. Like, add it to the Christmas list. You know, right in between Muppets Christmas Carol and, you know, A Wonderful Life, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, add Violent Night. Family.
It really is. Like, it is violent at a lot of points, and, you know, obviously Santa is not Santa, or not the typical Santa, and, you know, he drinks and pisses off his sleigh and all that kind of stuff. But it's great fun, absolutely outstanding fun. And, you know, I thought it was pretty, not paint by the numbers for a while, but when it went a little Home Alone-y there, when up in the attic,
just a little bit,
I was like, whoa, this is really fun now. Like, like there's a nail on a ladder. I'm like, oh, the guy's going to step on it, just like Daniel Stern did in Home Alone.
Right.
And then he doesn't step on it.
Even better.
Yeah. Better. So, you know, my wife was watching it too, but she had fallen asleep. And then I was trying to explain that sequence to her. I'm like, you know how in Home Alone, all those horrible things happen to those people, and it's kind of funny, and they're never really hurt? Yeah, this is the opposite of that. Terrible things happen to them. People die.
This also goes to show you Kevin McAllister is a psychopath.
Exactly. And I think that's what they're trying to say. Exactly. Like a bowling ball to the head, you know, a nail through the, you know, the jaw or whatever. Just
the flamethrower.
Like, this is
like, he wasn't playing with the robbers when he had a flamethrower or whatever it was.
And that's why that's what the movie, like, it, I think that it's about 3/4 of the way through the movie at that point. I'm like, oh, they're really going for it here with their Christmassy stuff, which I thought was really, really fun. And you mentioned it to me. We were talking about it. John Leguizamo, you're a big fan of him. Yes. Seeing him in like a villain type of role. You know, Beverly D'Angelo from the Christmas Vacation movies in it, which I thought was kind of fun. Yeah, so, you know, I had a lot of fun with it. The sequel, I cannot wait. Give me more Santa action movie. You know, but it's so much more than that too. That's what I can't believe it.
Great was the Bryan Adams sequence.
When I heard that voice, I'm like, oh, you know, I thought of Mr. C from V39 right away. Just giving it to me about Bryan Adams.
He was just taunting you from a distance.
Well, in that song, that's I don't know what it is for you guys down there, but up here we don't even play that Christmas song that much.
I don't know if I'd ever heard it.
Yeah, it's not a very popular Christmas song for some reason. I don't know why, but
I don't know if when I think Christmas singers or Christmas music, my mind doesn't really go to Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
You know, but that is me. Kevin McAllister's America's Most Wanted. Yeah, like that should be the sequel, because we all know Kevin did not grow up to be a stable human being. We can all accept that, I think. Loving home and stuff, sure. He had a loving home, but I'm pretty sure he did not grow up to be stable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'd like to see that sequel somewhere. Or spin-off.
That's right. So I had a great time with Violent Night. I didn't read anything this week either, by the way. That's why I just skipped right to watching, other than Harrow, which I read today. I read Little Monsters 10, but that's just kind of trucking along with a very good series there. So, yeah, Violent Night was the big thing that I watched this week. And I was trying to think if I watched anything else on Wednesday or Thursday, and I don't think I did. I'm sure I did, but I can't remember. The big thing for me was on Friday, I got Hogwarts Legacy. And, we were sick pretty much all day on Friday and most of yesterday, so we had a lot of time to sit down and play. My wife and I, my wife is very excited to play. She's not really a gamer other than the Nintendo Switch. So her actually holding a PS5 controller, any kind of PlayStation controller for the first time in forever was a learning experience for her and for me and trying to stay calm. I don't know if you've ever tried to teach somebody how to play video games.
No.
It's not very fun.
Oh yeah, I guess I have.
It's a very difficult thing to, keep calm. Like trying to picture my son, trying to teach my son how to do it and trying to teach a full-grown woman how to do it too. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but the game is great. Literally, it's great. It's like Chris, we had talked about up until the release of the game, the story, sure, but the exploration, the just walking around Hogwarts, going to Hogsmeade, flying on the broom, all of it is outstanding. It's so easy to play with how complicated it could have been with the different spells, potions, herbology, all that kind of stuff. But it's incredibly easy to play. It looks really good, very good for how big the game is. There's a couple pop-in spots here and there, but like the character animations I think are outstanding. The music is great. And I'm trying to think if it's the nostalgia factor as well. If you just hear the Harry Potter, if you hear, there's a couple points in the game where you hear the Harry Potter theme, and you go to class, you go to divination class, and there's a 5-minute just little cutscene of the kids in class just laughing and doing the divination. Or we went to Beast class and it's like, oh, that's what Harry Potter was like. They were just having fun at school. So I'm trying to get past that, but exactly. So I'm trying to get past that, but the gameplay is very good, and that's where I'm really enjoying the game too. Not just the nostalgia factor of being at Hogwarts again, but just the gameplay is so much fun. It's my second game that I bought for the PS5 after I bought God of War Ragnarok, and I'm glad that I did. Day one I woke up at, I think I went was up already all sick that night, so I had bought the game in one of my moments of duress and started downloading it on my PS5 so I could play it in the morning. So Chris, I don't know if you're going to get to it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but I highly recommend it. It's so much fun.
I'll get to it this week. I thought I was going to have time this weekend, but I didn't. So I'll get to it this week.
Yeah. No time for anything, I tell you.
No time to die. Yeah, that's what I heard.
I've heard that before. I've heard that somewhere.
That's what he said.
His hair looks funny there.
Yeah, he I don't know. I like the James Bond Funko Pops, but unless you know the costumes really well, they're really not. Oh, that's Daniel Craig.
Right.
Yeah, and when they're all in tuxedos, it's hard to tell the Funko Pops apart.
Yeah, all the tuxedos are the same. All the penguin suits are the same.
Pretty much.
And I started watching last night. I don't know if you ever think about a movie, Chris, it hasn't aged well, and you wonder if it has or hasn't. So you put it on to see if it has. So I put on Rush Hour the other day. Rush Hour 1 doesn't age the best, but it's still a lot of fun. Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker together. And I put on right after that Austin Powers, the first one. Which you watch, you get clips on YouTube or whatever, and you're like, oh, that was funny. The one clip when he just wakes up out of the being frozen and he pees for like 30 seconds long.
Yeah, I imagine that's not as funny.
It's not as funny, and then often the sex jokes nonstop about him trying to have sex with Miss Kensington, not funny. But some of the other stuff, like the Dr. Evil and his son, is great. And then when they go to the father son little meeting, Carrie Fisher's the psychiatrist. It's like some of the stuff is really, 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 really smart, and some of it's not. So I haven't watched that movie in forever. I remember that not liking Goldmember, but I'm wondering about that as well. I don't know. I don't know why I had the inclination to watch Austin Powers, the first one, but
that was pretty random, but I understand.
Yeah, it's just,
I've been wanting to watch Cuffs with Christian Slater, so I'm with you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I love Cuffs. It's been a while since I've seen it, so
Yeah.
the Blu-ray's been tempting me. It's behind me somewhere.
Sure, yeah. And I was just, just laying on the couch, nothing to do, trying, I could just be going to sleep, but I don't want to go to sleep too early because then I'll get up too early. And then I guess I'll watch something that feels comforting, I guess, or something I've seen before 100 million times.
It's groovy.
Yeah. And that stuff, like, and there's like the intercuts of like him and his band. Like, it's just like, oh, that's weird. That's weird.
It's so bizarre, but it's fun. I haven't seen it in a while either. Yeah. I think I probably wouldn't want to revisit it. Rather just like to have the memory that I liked it at the time.
That's an interesting aspect too, Chris. And, should I watch this again, or should I just remember it that I liked it at that time? Let's not chance it.
Truth be told, that's why I have not rewatched Howard the Duck in years.
All this talk about Howard the Duck, eh, Chris?
I don't want to ruin it, so we're just gonna leave it there. And it's golden, and I won't accept any slander on it either.
I will accept no slander on Howard the Duck.
No, Howard is still cool.
All right, so that's kind of a quick little what we watched, what we read this week, Chris. Let's talk about some trailers.
Yes.
So the Super Bowl's on now, and it's it's one of the biggest times of the year for movie trailers, TV trailers, regular commercials, any kind of ad or sponsorship that wants to be seen and spend millions of dollars to do so. We'll do it at the Super Bowl. So we've had some trailers that have come out a couple days before, some full-length ones, and then they add in the 30-second spots. I think that happened only with the Fast X trailer that came out 2 days ago, I think, and then a 30-second one. Everything else...
Why did they added that?
Yeah, so there was a 30-second trailer just today. I don't think it added any new footage for what I could tell, but I didn't pay that much attention to it. But Chris, so I've got a couple here. We've got the Flash one. We've got the Fast X trailer. We've got an Indiana Jones 5 trailer. We've got... I had another one. What did I send you? What did I tell you? Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, Chris, where do you want to start? Because I
want to do Flash last.
Okay, so that's fine. Did you watch the Indiana Jones one?
I did. I watched it twice because I didn't realize it was only 30 seconds. I thought it was because the one I was seeing led right into the other one. I was like, oh, this is more than 30 seconds. No, it's the same.
Right.
So I'm not really a big Indiana Jones guy. I've only seen 2 of them. I want to see this one. This one looks like a lot of fun. And the song constantly playing is kind of amps you up, even if you're not a fan. I think it just hits.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that was my feeling when the first full-length trailer came out a couple of months ago, I guess. It's like, oh, like Indiana Jones 5, like, oh, Harrison Ford, you're 100 years old. And, kind of going on, and it's nothing we haven't seen before. But then the indie music comes on, it's just like, oh, this feels right. And there's a lot of talk about the de-aging process for Harrison Ford. We see a lot of that in this trailer. Just 30 seconds, but they don't shy away from it. From seeing the young Indy, we see more of Phoebe Waller-Bridges, which is cool. I'm very excited for this movie. I think it looks really, really, really good. And maybe I hadn't felt so good about Harrison Ford with how old he's been, but I hadn't really seen much of his newer stuff. Like I didn't see that one with where he was with that dog. What is it? Something wild.
Was it? I don't want to say it. It kind of just looked like the modern Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Sure. So I hadn't seen a lot of really other than like Force Awakens, but that feels like it was a little while ago now.
Yeah, that's
maybe
different. That's Star Wars.
Maybe I'm just thinking of like the last 5 years or something where I haven't really seen a lot of Harrison Ford. But then seeing him in 1923, the Yellowstone prequel, it's like, oh man, Harrison Ford's a great actor.
Yeah, he's awesome.
You almost forget after a while, like he's a great actor. And yes, he's old, and I feel like they're going to still do it justice for Indy 5. And I think the idea of him being old is the point as well. Like that was obviously the point in, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and some of the point in Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker as well. So yeah, I'm excited for it now. My pessimism for Indy 5 is completely gone. This trailer that came out during the Super Bowl has just made me feel a lot better about the movie.
Well, our friend Zeddy, also known as Zedward Nigma now, and now we're starting to see more of that their persona manifest.
I was gonna say the jerk personality. Is that what you mean?
No, just the Riddler personality.
Yeah.
Zeddy is predicting Indy 5 will flop because it's not Fast 10, Creed 3, The Little Mermaid, Oppenheimer, or Wonka. So I'm with them on all those except maybe Wonka. That's the wild card here.
Ooh, yeah. Well,
I'm
two of those movies.
I'm supporting Zeddy. I'm saying.
Two of those movies got Super Bowl trailers, Fast X and Creed 3. So.
Oh, Creed 3. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
didn't put it on the list because you haven't seen the other two. So.
They're on my list. So. I will get to them. Maybe before this one because this one does look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which I said about the other two as well. But.
Yeah. All right, so that's Indy 5, Chris. Where do you want to go next? So is it Fast X or 10? I'm doing X. I'm saying X, but it's Fast and the Furious 10. But they dropped the Furious a while ago. And
supercar movie.
That's right.
So I think each film in the franchise has gotten more and more ridiculous. I mean, they went to space in the last one, and they were fine. They were literally floating around a planet, and they were fine. Yep. This one, I was watching the main trailer. I was like, "Oh, this isn't as ridiculous. This is kind of neat." And then there's a point where it switches. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, here we are. We're back to ridiculousness. And I was not upset. I was like, okay, this feels at home now. I like this better. Mm-hmm. We've gone to the point with these movies where when they are shown to be serious, I can't take it seriously. And I'm just waiting for the next obnoxious stunt. Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited for this movie. Like, grossly excited. It just looks funny. They got so many people in this one.
Yeah, I didn't know that John Cena was going to be in it.
I didn't either. I didn't know Alan Richardson.
Oh, what's his name from Reacher?
Jack Reacher. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't see him in there.
Yeah, he's in it. I don't know. They got a lot. But John Leguizamo's probably in
it too. So I understand the idea of the Fast and the Furious series, just like you, Chris. But the trailer is utter ridiculousness.
It is.
Specifically Jason Momoa, who looks, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, remember when he looks fake? Exactly. His face looks bloated and obscure, and CGI Momoa, Zeddy. That's exactly what I said. He looks outrageous. He's acting outrageous. I'm sure he's having the best time of his life. I'm sure he got paid millions of dollars for this, but he looks dumb. Literally dumb. It's like I couldn't get past it. His face looks like the Blob. Like I'm trying to think of the movie, and maybe it's Mission Impossible, where they get injected in the face and their face turns, and then it starts to droop. Shit, I can't remember the movie now.
That sounds like some Total Recall stuff.
Yeah, maybe it is Total Recall, something like that. Their face starts to droop, and you can't put it back together, and like, oh, he just looks awful. But again, he's having the best time of his life. But these movies are not for me. This trailer was not for me. There was no point where I said, "Wow, I need to see that." It just doesn't do it for me. And I'm all for utter stupid action. Like earlier, I was praising Santa Claus beating up a guy and pissing off the side of his sleigh. All for that stuff. But there's something about this just doesn't do it for me. But 10 movies, billions of dollars later, every character known to man is in the movie.
I'm waiting to see how they bring back Brian. Because I know
you think they're going to?
I think they are. I think it's coming in some form. They're going to have Brian in this movie or the last one.
There's one more after this, right? Or
there's one more after this, yes.
Okay, that's right.
Aaron said it's literally the same trailer as Fast 7. I have to go back and see because I think he's right, but I got to go back and watch because I just want to see it.
Which one's Fast 7? Which one's that one?
That is the last one with Paul Walker. That's the one where they go through the buildings.
Oh, okay.
And if I remember correctly, that's the one where the finale, it ends with Vin Diesel stomping on a parking garage and breaking it. I think. Zeddy says, Fast X looks like pure popcorn entertainment. Shut your brain off, and that's why it's going to make all the money. Agreed.
Oh, it's gonna make tons. Like the people are gonna love it.
I hope
Guaranteed.
so.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be fun. I really do. Vin Diesel's comments about it though have just taken a life of their own.
Yeah. What did he? What did he compare it to the other day?
The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's
because he was talking about how hard it is to keep up with the mythology of these projects.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like Lord, like Tolkien. I was like, what?
He did it to something else too, an actor or something. Didn't he compare himself to an actor?
Compared himself. Who was it? Damn it!
Oh shoot!
It's gonna bug me now. It was someone big.
Vin Diesel.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, the greatest actor of all time.
I mean, if you would have compared himself to like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, like okay, 100%. That's your wheelhouse. Even Bruce Willis, because Bruce Willis, of course, I think has the most varied filmography of the 80s action guys.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you said like Bruce, that's fine. You win for Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, just so obscure.
I like to read comics, so I guess I'm Scott Snyder. I'm like Scott Snyder.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just as good as a writer as he is.
Statham comes back to kill the... Okay, there you go. Statham comes back to kill the team because they killed his brother. Yeah, I think Momoa's father or something gets killed. And so he's back for blood. I mean, realistically, what other storylines do you do at this point? They started off stealing VCRs and DVD players.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best thing about the whole series.
Yeah, it's amazing how we've got to this point. So I don't even know what else you do. Like, I can't tell you what any of them are even about.
That's what I was wondering when I asked you about which one's Fast 7. Trying to just describe one of these movies to somebody is so hard.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I know the last one, John Cena is his brother for some reason. He was mad at him. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And Charlize Theron is apparently the big villain again, or it was the big.
Oh yeah, she's at the end of this one. I forgot.
Yeah, she's back.
She was in it too.
They got like Marvel contracts on these guys.
Well, what's the budget supposed to be like $300 million or something? It's got to be just in cast alone.
Yeah, then I don't know. I guess the 11th one is the final one.
That's gonna.
He's already talking about the villain for that. He's like, it's the anti-Dom, which we've had like in every movie.
Is it? Yeah, Jason Momoa is utterly the anti-Dom.
I think that's what he's. Yeah, the anti-Dom. But I'm excited.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm. All right, Chris, the last one, or the second to last one on the list here, other than The Flash, is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And this one, we got a full trailer for it. Mm-hmm. Just today. I don't know if we got a spot for it or not.
I don't know. I think we're talking about it.
Yeah, so what do you think about the second trailer, I think? Second full trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
This trailer, so I thought the first trailer really hit home. This one does too. Mm-hmm. Guardians is one of my favorite MCU projects, period. Mm-hmm. It's also the biggest surprise for me going into it, because when the first one was coming, I was like, what is Guardians of the Galaxy? Who wants to see this?
Absolutely.
And then I saw it, and I think I became a super fan overnight. So it's funny how that works. This one looks great. I'm pretty excited to see how Gunn is going to end it.
Yes.
They're really teasing us that someone's going to die in it. But
almost too much.
Yeah, I feel like because they're teasing it so much, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Although the voiceover from Rocket at the end makes me sad already.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about Rocket. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's a good time. I like a lot of what they show, especially the Adam Warlock stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering if that'd be something you'd be excited about. Mm-hmm. As a character I know nothing about. Obviously, and I don't know if a lot of movie-going fans or even small Marvel fans really know much about either. But it's there's a lot in this trailer, a lot of action, a lot of James Gunn goodness.
A lot of James Gunn goodness.
The one thought that I had, and it's not even about the trailer, but man, I'm happy that DC has James Gunn because of how good this looks, and because of how it's off. I often think about, like you said it, Chris. Who the hell are the Guardians of the Galaxy? It shouldn't work, but people are going into this movie expecting something to happen that's so emotional that they're gonna like really care about a tree and a talking raccoon. Or Dave Bautista's Drax or whatever, like just the character work alone in Guardians, the the Guardians movies is top tier MCU stuff. So that's what gets me excited. The pop culture niche ish,
Yeah.
pop culture niche to the trailer. It's very full of that as well. So they kind of beat you over the head with that a little bit for me, much like the death of somebody, whether it's Rocket or like at the last scene of the trailers, I think is Nebula carrying Peter Quill.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
No, he's not dead, but like they're just really selling it to us. So the pop culture stuff, they're hitting us over the head with that. That's kind of the idea of these movies, specifically the music that Peter has from the 80s, that kind of stuff. So I get it. But yeah, it's just there's something about this trailer specifically and this third one that feels 10 times bigger than the first two.
Yeah, it feels a lot bigger and more important than the first two.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's not that. Oh, is it May? I think it was, or I can't remember now. But
yeah, May sounds good because that's what Marvel usually does. They put the big one in May.
So yeah, it's a very good trailer. They're hitting us over the head with the dying thing, the pop culture-ness, the Guardian stuff's kind of not as exciting for me, but I'm excited for the human moments. I'm excited for the emotional stuff. And I'm excited to see like the last thing that James Gunn's going to do for the MCU. It's very interesting. Like, and that's the other thing. Like he had two of the biggest trailers at the Super Bowl. James Gunn. Like obviously DC's not his, but he runs DC Studios now, and obviously the Flash is before him, but still, like
it's on his shoulders now.
It's very. He's like, whoa, man, you're a big deal. You're a big deal here, man. Like you're gonna have the biggest MCU project of the year. And you're also talking about the biggest DC project of the year as well. That's quite the feat.
The Toxic Avenger guy runs
Scooby-Doo.
DC Studios.
That's right.
I mean, Scooby-Doo is a big project, but the Toxic Avenger guy runs DC. I still haven't quite grasped that one.
Yep.
And I'm very happy for it. I think it's great. It's funny to me,
Mm-hmm.
Did not see that one coming. But you look at his track record with those Marvel movies, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All three of them are great.
I mean, I'm also interested. Like, I think that we got a Quantumania trailer. I'm not sure if they've already shown us a lot in the trailer, so I didn't watch it yet, or maybe I won't. But like, I think so. Quantumania comes out, and then the Guardians one. It's going to be interesting how they start to build up to. Their big plans, whether it's Secret Wars or the Kang Dynasty or stuff like that. That's in, Guardians kind of been off its own little side pocket. It's been the more, the galaxy stuff, the space stuff. Yeah. It's going to be cool to see how the plans really start coming together here, which is going to be interesting because from the Guardians trailer, like aside from the action being big, it couldn't be further from what the Quantumania stuff is. Like there's no Kang. There's no interconnectedness of anything. So I'm excited for that to see where it starts to see where the ball starts rolling.
I like this term emotional riverboat ride. That just sounds fun. Yeah, I'm with you. I do wonder, I'm assuming Guardians is not going to connect to the greater MCU at this point because it is the last one. They've said is the last we'll see of this cast together.
That's true.
So I'm curious how that's going to be all wrapped up. Quantumania though that's the one I don't want to say I'm more interested in, but I kind of am just because I want to see what it's setting up. And also, I just love Ant-Man. And Kang. I like Kang a lot.
Fair enough. All right, Chris, let's get to the big boy here.
The flashy finale.
We've been annoyed by The Flash for a long time. We just want the movie to come out because we're tired of the discourse and all that kind of stuff. And now I think I'm going to speak for you. I want this movie to come out because it looks flipping awesome. And I just really want to see it now because it looks so good. There's a lot in this trailer, Chris.
This is a busy trailer. The Flash. I'm going to change the banner for this one because it's a big deal.
Banner change.
Yeah, we got to do a banner change for this one. It's just necessary if you're just joining us. There we go. Oh, I didn't save it. I'll do it as we talk. So I'm totally with you. We have been wanting this to just get over with because of discourse, because of all the back and forth. And it's not that we didn't want to see the movie. That was never the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we wanted to get it over with.
Yep.
And now, after seeing the trailer, I've watched it twice now, and I've seen the TV spot too.
Mm-hmm.
This has shot up to my most anticipated comic book movie this year.
Mm.
Which before it was Shazam, which I know a lot of people like, Shazam, really? Yeah, it was Shazam. Now it's The Flash. I am so excited for this. And not even just because the Batman stuff, which I was expecting to enjoy, but I mean, I do, but just the Flash stuff looks so cool.
Yeah.
And that suit looks great in motion.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with the suit looks a lot better in motion than it does standing still. Yeah.
And the gold boots, and it's cool. It's so comic booky. And I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that from that director.
Mm-hmm.
Whose name I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to try. We'll call him Andy.
Andy M. Yep, let's do it.
Old Andy. I did not expect it to be so comic-y, and it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we mentioned that there's a lot in the trailer. You know, we get 2 Barrys, we get multiple Flashes, we get multiple Batman, we get a Supergirl, we get General Zod. But I think it mixes very well. Specifically I was surprised, obviously, with the Ezra Miller stuff going on, they do not shy away from Ezra Miller in any way.
No.
They are the opening shot to almost the very last shot as well.
It's 2 of them.
Yeah, two of them. So
2 of them.
The confidence that they're showing is very good. Obviously, you know, DC and Warner Brothers have been overly confident, obviously almost a little bit suspect, confident about it. But I like that they didn't shy away from the movie is called The Flash. So you need to show us the Flash. But in also doing that, there's still lots of Batman, lots of Bruce Wayne, the right amount of Michael Keaton's Batman, I think. And I was also a little worried about the Supergirl stuff because she is not in the first 3/4 of the trailer, really. There's small teases of her a little bit here and there. You know, you see her boots, you see her without a suit on, and then it's not until the end where the action picks up quite heavily, where there's a lot of Supergirl and funny moments with Supergirl, and then big action moments. But I was almost a little worried that, where's Supergirl? Like, there's been lots of rumors about her being cut and this being cut and that being cut. I'm like, are they not they're actually doing that and not going to put her in it? But I think it blended very well. So like a technical aspect of a trailer, I thought it moved very well because of all the characters. Because there's so much in this trailer. Like just the straight up showing us General Zod. Like, whoa. Like I was so surprised to see Michael Shannon.
I was too. It makes me wonder, how long is this movie?
It's got to be 2.5, 2:45, maybe. Yeah.
I would think it's at least 2:30, at least.
Yeah.
Because even the trailer, it shows a lot of stuff. And I'm with you. I did not expect to see Zod. I thought that would be like a secret. But I guess we also didn't see I think it's safe to say we know Zod is not the main villain.
Well, we see at a certain point there's a red Flash and a black suited Flash. We see their.
Oh, I didn't know we see it. Oh, the boots.
Yeah, we see their boots come together and they're different colors. You're like, okay, we don't know who that is. Sure, it is. We see in there when they're flying in the bat plane, and when the one Barry's taking the video of Supergirl, they're both wearing red suits. I don't know. That's the thing. So it feels like they put a lot into this trailer, but there's still a lot of mystery here. I think we know what the plot is. You know, Barry he goes back in time, he screws something up, and there's no metahumans, there's no superheroes. You know, we get some of the Flashpoint stuff with the Kara and Cadmus, that kind of stuff. But some of the rumors that we've heard about this movie over the last long time, it doesn't make it into the trailer. So they showed a lot, but I do think there is still more to show.
This is a question from Aaron I want to get to after we're finished with the trailer. So I'm going to bookmark this for us.
I had that thought too, with everyone praising it. I'm like, oh, this conversation is coming.
It is, and I think it's a necessary conversation. So we're going to get to that one. Sure. Another thing that I'm not surprised they did, but I like that they did it. They've put a lot of focus on the Bruce Wayne, the Waynes, is what we're going to call it.
Yep.
You had a really good Affleck moment. Just him as Bruce.
Yep.
Then you do see that suit full on when he's on the bike. I'm going to reserve judgment on the suit till it's in the movie.
The one shot, Yeah, the one shot looks like he got a chest piece of some kind and
I
some
don't
kind
know
of
what
leg.
the hell that is.
I don't know what it is either.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
an exoskeleton thing.
him on the bike looks great. I love.
Yeah,
I love
he
the.
looks great when you can't see the suit and he's just hunched over with that looks cool. I like the blue.
Yeah.
The blue is awesome.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I expect them to, and I'm glad with the way that it's done. We get enough Keaton, like you said, and it's pretty cool. Like when he dives off with the cape out, and then he does that swoop move. That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like something out of a video game or a comic book. Like straight. It's not something we've seen on film before, and not something I expected that Batman to do, or even Affleck's. Really,
sure.
It was a cool thing to see. And then you get like, the cool moments with the car, and I'm pretty sure he still can't turn his head, which is kind of great. I'm guessing because there's a point where he like swoops down and picks up his head, and the way it looks, I don't think he can turn his head.
Yeah, so they kept the aesthetic for in the Super Bowl spots. I think it's like 45 seconds to 50 seconds or something. We see a whole gaggle of suits, and they all have this. They have more or less have the same headpiece, the same cowl, and it looks like the no turn. Yeah, and like you said, on the left hand side, there's the one with guns, and on the right hand side, there looks like a nightmare version. There's a whole bunch of different ones, so very very cool, and like they're not on coat hangers, which is cool. Yeah, I like the musical cues as well for the Michael Keaton stuff.
Very
I thought that was very interesting.
Love the update to the theme.
Yeah, so like we saw a little bit of that in Justice League 2017, where Danny Elfman tried to blend in the Batman theme and the Superman theme, and it didn't overly work, but it just feels really, really, really well done here.
I think it worked here because they made it more prominent.
Sure.
It was clearer in this one, and also it was mixed with something else that just made it pop. So I really like that a lot, that aspect of it. And I'm also Supergirl was pretty cool. I agree. Also, there's a really interesting shot of what I believe looks like Superman's costume, like crumpled up.
That's at the point where he says there's no metahumans here.
Yeah.
And it's either the shot before that or the shot after that. We see it looks like a young Kara. She's in the Cadmus uniform, and she's kind of slouched over and not looking too good. Yeah.
It looks like that's Superman's suit. So I'm curious if that is or what.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious. Eric asks, are the two Batmen going to meet each other? I don't think so.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like there's a certain point at the start of the movie where the Snyderverse Barry is talking to Ben Affleck's Batman about going back in time or going to another universe, and he's trying to say, don't do it. And then he leaves and it leaves Affleck behind.
I'm assuming that's what happens. Affleck gets left in the present or whatever you would call it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
The main verse. Zeddy says, am I the only one that thought the trailer gave off the impression that the movie will pander to the general audience? Lots of crowd-pleasing moments. Okay, about that. I thought there was more levity than I was expecting, especially Keaton's Batman.
Yes. It was also very bright, the trailer as well. The Batman action scenes like that. Exactly. And the big action scene towards the end of the trailer and maybe towards the end of the movie is in full daylight. Like and oftentimes, and they try to hide big action set pieces at dark because it's easier to do CGI and stuff like that. And like you said, Batman in daylight. But I like it is lighthearted, but it looks like the Cadmus stuff and Supergirl in general, like she's not a beacon of hope from what I got. Like she's screaming and yelling in the trailer. She's got short black hair. She's not like the long blonde hair Supergirl or what you think of when you think of Supergirl. So I think again,
seem happy either.
Exactly. The one Barry specifically at the start when it sounds like Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne's, well, what do you want to do in this universe? And he's like, well, it's the only one where my mother's alive. It's like, oh, that's pretty heavy there.
That's pretty deep.
So I think the trailer for me was a very good mix. I think it was just a very good trailer.
I agree. Very well made, purposeful, I think. It's purposeful. It gives you a little bit of everything you need to know about this movie. And I don't know about you. I don't need another trailer now. This is enough.
I was going to say, what can they show us now? Like what?
I don't want to see.
We don't want to know more. We don't need to see more.
No, this was all I needed, and it did its job. It is my most anticipated comic book movie now. It was still high on the list anyway, but now it really jumped.
I was surprised about the action, like, and
Me
I
too.
shouldn't be surprised. Like, it's a Flash movie, there has to be action, but like some of the set pieces look humongous, and this isn't an original idea, but it's very comic booky as well. There's looks like a lot of comic booky type of panels.
There's a tornado.
Like it's just like there's characters interacting with characters, and there's fun moments, and
The ring.
yeah, oh man, yeah.
They
That's
show the ring and how that's cool.
it is. There's just a lot of shots, and
Mhm.
I'm really surprised how much they've shown. And from what I've seen, and this is me as well. Nothing was ruined for me, even with seeing the Zod stuff. Like, oh, I wish I didn't see that, or I wish I didn't see Affleck, or I wish I didn't see the Supergirl stuff. I wasn't ruined by anything. I just thought everything about the trailer was so good.
I agree with Phil. This trailer is enough to let anticipation build. That's what I feel too. Just if they're gonna put a trailer in theaters, of course, put a variation of this one or the 60-second spot or 30.
Yeah, it's got to be with Shazam. Yeah.
Yeah, just make a variation. Don't add anything. Don't switch footage out. Just recut what you got.
Yep. So let's talk about that anticipation, Chris, with Aaron's comment here.
Yes, this is a good
the
one.
Anticipation of what's it building towards? Said if it's so great, if Gunn thinks it's so good, why are they starting over? Why are they resetting the universe?
I think even from just watching this trailer, it's pretty clear this was always meant, and we were told this too.
Yes,
it was always meant to reset this universe. Now, before, of course, it was meant to reset the universe and keep the actors to some capacity.
Right.
The rumor was Keaton was taking over for Affleck, and Kai was taking over for Cavill.
Yep.
But I think that you can do that still if you wanted, but these actors have already been there for so long. If you think about it, Affleck has been Batman since 2016 on screen, but they filmed BVS, I think, in 2014 or 2015.
Yes.
We're getting to a 10-year mark. He's older. I'm sure he does want to move on with things. Cavill's the only one I think who didn't get a fair shake, but I also understand Gunn wants to make a cohesive universe where he can tailor every piece of it. And you can't do that with baggage. You gotta do your thing, but also we don't know who he's keeping, who he's not.
That's my thing too. The movie could be the best thing in the world. Shazam could make $1 billion. The Flash could make $1 billion. All of the films could make $1 billion, but we don't know how the Flash is going to reset things. We don't know what the Flash is going to tell us about what is to come next. Like I said about the Ezra Miller stuff that's been happening over the last couple of years, we don't know. Like if the movie does well, and after seeing this trailer, I wouldn't put it past them keeping Ezra Miller now. Nico has been talking about that from V39 for a long time now. I'm on board with that. If the movie does well, if it tests well, if it makes money, I could see Ezra Miller being the Flash in the future. But the Batman stuff, the Keaton stuff, that is from what we know with the Brave and the Bold. The Keaton stuff, this is it. The Sasha Kaye stuff, I'd leave that open up in the air for now as well. From what I got with this Supergirl is aligned very much with what the Supergirl could be in the Tom King Women of Tomorrow comic book, because she is a little bit more jaded, much like this Supergirl seems to be, because of obviously her upbringing, where she was raised in a scientific unit with Cadmus. She wasn't that beacon of hope like Superman or like Henry or like Kal-El was. So I get that. Affleck stuff, I agree with you. I think it's time to move on from Ben Affleck. He's doing Dunkin' Donuts commercials, which are great, by the way. And he's a director. That trailer came out for Air this week. The Amazon movie he's got his own stuff going on. This is his one last goodbye to Batman, I think. And we'll see who else pops up in the movie, but I think it all depends about how they reset the universe, and if it's on purpose, if it's a purposeful reset, and I think it is. I think that's what Gunn said. They're using the Flash to reset the universe. So
Which was the plan anyway. Again,
Well, yeah, a long time ago before Gunn came on,
right?
that was the idea. I think they're just going to tweak what the resetting means.
And you know, I get it. He has the keys to the kingdom. He wants to tell his story, and he doesn't want to deal with baggage or anything like that. I get it. I get it.
It's just
What
going to be
I
interesting. It's going to be interesting if it's so good, if people love it. People, I can't wait to see Michael Keaton again, or I can't wait to see Sasha Kaye again. It's just I understand the sell as well, so I
Mhm.
think that's why the resetting nature of the movie also has to be sold in a certain way.
Yeah, that's going to be important too. There's a lot of moving parts with it. We've always said there's a lot of moving parts with this movie, and they all have to hit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping they do. I want this movie to be a success, of course.
Yep.
But
What's even weirder is the two movies that come after it, but that's another conversation as
yeah,
well. So
we'll see what happens with it. As long, I mean, I think everything is probably still in flux.
yep,
It's just
could
going to
be
depend on what happens. But either way, I think we have a good movie coming up here with this one,
for sure.
and we'll just go from there. I just
Yep,
think it's safe to just say what we know, which is Gavill's gone, Affleck's not coming back. Which, if I had my way, I probably would have kept both of those.
Yep,
I would have
nothing
kept
wrong
both
with
of
that
them.
either.
I think Affleck would have been a great Batman for the Brave and the Bold, but not to be.
Not to be.
Not to be. I'm with Zeddy too. Affleck getting the chance to wear the blue as his last Batman appearance is pretty cool.
Yep, for sure.
I don't think anybody expected this thing to be blue. Even like the set pictures, it kind of looked blue.
I couldn't
like,
tell, and I couldn't tell.
It had like a little hint of it, but seeing it full on, it's blue and it's cool. The mother comment got me in straight away. Yeah, that was a good comment. The Batman looked great. I was a doubter, but this has sold me. Phil agrees with Aaron. Yeah, this trailer sells the crap out of the concept.
Yeah, what about you weren't the biggest on Michael Keaton, old Batman, coming back. How do you feel now that seeing him in action, like literal action as well? But you don't see his Bruce Wayne, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in it though. But my issue with Keaton coming back wasn't the Flash though. It was him becoming the main Batman.
Right.
That was my issue. I couldn't put that together in my head. But him and the Flash, I was always excited for.
Fair.
And I think he looks pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see him back. I like the upgraded suit that he's wearing.
Absolutely, I would agree. I like the Batcave shots.
Oh yeah, Batcave was awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
I can't tell if that's the one I think it's different than what he used to have.
It looks very different.
Yeah, it looks much more refined. Which if he's, let's say, 65, 70 years old in this movie, he had the time to do it.
Yeah, I wonder when it takes place. I wonder what year. Like, I guess I don't really know what year 89 came out or Batman Returns did, though.
Yeah, because they want him to be timeless. So this one would have more of a set, you can see where it's set.
Oh, yeah, I wonder if that would that plays as well.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so I didn't see. I've been checking just to see if any other trailers have dropped. Obviously, it's almost the end of the game, so not much has dropped. So I don't think there's any other trailers to talk about, Chris.
No, I mean, the Flash was always going to be the biggest one.
It was one of those ones much like the DC slate. We were all anticipating it. We were all waiting for it, waiting for that 6:00.
I wasn't home when it dropped, but yeah,
yeah, it made it happen.
I did.
All right, Chris. Anything else you want to talk about before we get on out of here?
No, that'll do it. I think I'm probably gonna watch the Flash trailer again.
Yeah. I watched it twice, and I put it on the second time. My son's like, "Why, Dad? Why are you watching it again?" I'm like, "Because it's great."
Yeah, because it's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Chris, hit us up with your plugs in.
Okay, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @ChrisEvan0. But as always, I prefer you guys follow the show at G of the Geeks. And Emmett's better with the rest of the plugs, so he'll take over.
You can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. This week, we got a little bit of different drop date for Last of the Geeks. Since the episode of HBO's The Last of Us aired on Friday, we are going to record on a Monday and have the episode for you on Tuesday. So that would be Tuesday, the February the 14th, on Valentine's Day. You'll have a new episode of Last of the Geeks in your podcast feeds. So make sure you are subscribed to Gathering of the Geeks so you can get all of our thoughts on that. And saying all that, I want to say thanks to Eric, Zeddy, Aaron, Lauren, Phil. I think that was it, if I can remember correctly. Thanks so much, guys, for watching on this fine Super Bowl Sunday evening. And saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Have a good week, guys.